how's the young church evolved in the past 20 years? I know that raising 5 kids and 3 daughters, like I have a younger daughter that's she was a surprise child. So raising her was very different than raising my other kids in this culture today. So how has that impacted you with bringing the faith to young people, with the many distractions and the conflicting messages that they hear? And forget about the programs on television, like the normalcy of sex and violence. It's just, I'm sure your approach has changed over the past 20 years.
Well, I think the need in some ways, I'm glad you said it like that, because the need in some ways has remained consistent, because the human heart is still the human heart. And yet some of the like accidental notes, or some of the kind of cosmetic parts have changed, or they may say it like this: access points. Here's one massive example. When I started on campus, that was at the same time of the rise of the new atheists, right? Richard Dawkins and Christopher Hitchens, those people. And so The God Delusion was a really big book at the time. And so the big question that so many people had was, is God real? And our culture has shifted in many ways. I mean, there have been a lot of really good people who have given responses to that question about, is God real? Does God exist? But our culture has shifted in a deeper way, so that the question, sometimes, obviously, there are people who still ask the question, does God exist? Is God real? But what I've found, and many people across the country have found, is a bigger question on students' hearts and people's hearts is not, is God real? It's, is God good? And that has been remarkable as a question, because think about this, that actually goes back to literally the very first question in the garden that the serpent asks Eve. He's like, yeah, he said you couldn't eat of that fruit, but the reason he did it is because it'll make you like him, and he doesn't want you to be like him. So the first question is not, is God real? The first question is, can you trust him? Is he good? And so it's an ancient question, because that's the human heart, but it's very, very new in our culture, where that is the predominant question a lot of times when it comes to our young people. Because C.S. Lewis even wrote about this years ago. He has a collection of essays called God in the Dock. And he had pointed out that for hundreds of years, the image of, Christianity is the image of a courtroom, in that sense that here we are, we're on trial, we're guilty of our sins. And here's God, who he responds to our guilt by the cross, right? He dies for our sins. So I'm guilty and I'm on trial. God responds by the cross. And yet, and this started again in C.S. Lewis's lifetime, where it's no longer me who's on trial, it's now God on trial. Because here we have this world that is broken, this world that's fallen. I have this suffering, I have this broken heart, and I didn't ask to believe, I didn't ask to be born, I didn't ask to be in this world, and God put me in this world that's full of suffering. He's on trial. And the remarkable thing that I think both C.S. Lewis, Pope Benedict, I think I wrote about this, others, is that God's answer for our guilt is the cross. And God's answer for our accusation that he's the guilty one is the cross, meaning that he said, okay, I'll take your sin upon me in the cross, but also your accusation that I don't know what it's like, your accusation that I don't care. I will answer that accusation by taking the cross upon me as well. I'll all the things that make you wonder whether I'm good, I will let those things happen to me. Betrayal, rejection, abandonment, accusation, not deserving it, torture, death, all those things. I'll take those upon me, and I'll prove to you that I am good and you can trust me. I love it, because our question has changed, but his answer is the same. And it's the cross. And I see that as a big shift, but it's also like a cyclical shift, because it goes back many, many years, if that means anything.